As an influencer, you know there are a lot of moving parts to keep track of at any given moment. You may have questions about working with brands, finding inspiration, or honestly, just all of those little things that come up in the process of creating content that maybe you've never even thought about before. Today, I'm answering your questions that you sent in through comments and DMs on my channel and on my other social media platforms to help give you some clarity and share my perspective on these questions as a content creator with over 10 years of experience. So I'm cozy and casual today in a huge oversized crew neck, so grab a cup of coffee, matcha, or whatever drink you want, and let's get into answering your questions. Okay, so question number 1 came in through Instagram DM, and this creator wrote, how do you provide a custom quote to a brand for a project? Do you make it in Canva so that it looks professional, or what's the process there? This is a great question, so let's break it down. I believe this question came about as a result of this creator checking out my video about creating a rate sheet, because in that video I talk about having a rate sheet that you keep internally, as in you don't send to brands, but you basically have this internal list of your pricing so that when a brand reaches out with a request, you can reference your own list of what you'd ideally like to be charging for content and see what the brand wants and figure out which deliverables from your rate sheet you're going to kind of bundle into what I call a custom quote to send over to that brand. So the way I actually do this is very simple, which is I will actually just type it out in the email. So say that a brand reaches out to me and they want me to create one Instagram reel and one story set with 3 frames, and they also want 1 month of usage rights. So what I would do is look at my rate sheet and say, okay, what do I want to be charging for a reel right now, a story set, and 1 month of usage for short form video content? Then I would basically take those 3 numbers and add them together, and that total is what I would send the brand. So then this way, I'm just sharing that one number with the brand. So they say they want these deliverables, and I say, great, for this project, for what you want, my quote is this. So you can create a quote in Canva where you basically do what you would kind of do in an invoice, and you list out all of those individual deliverables and the total. But I actually would not encourage doing this for the same reason I wouldn't encourage sharing your rate sheet publicly with a brand partner. And that's basically just that it gives them the opportunity to nitpick your rates, to say like, oh, well, you charge this much for the video, but then you charge this much for usage. Like, that doesn't make any sense, because pricing across the board is still very volatile and up in the air. There's still not really a standard for pricing in this industry, because there are so many creators and so many different platforms that brands want content for. So you might think it looks professional to send a Canva PDF with everything broken down, but just know that that might give the brand an opportunity to really nitpick what you're charging for certain things. And I like to avoid that by, again, just in the body of the email saying, my rate for this project is X, and hopefully leaving it at that. However, this is totally your call, and if you think you can design a beautiful template and it will help you look professional, then it's certainly something you can test out, and you can always circle back on it or change the way you approach that after a couple of times. Okay, let's move on to question number 2, and I don't think I've ever actually addressed this on the channel before. So this creator asked, when it comes to brands sending you PR and mailers, do you send the brand your actual address, or do you create like a PO box or somewhere else that the brand sends those packages to? So once again, this kind of comes down to your personal preference as a creator, but let's chat through both options. I would say that if you live in an apartment building or somewhere where packages tend to go missing a lot, then that might be a reason to consider getting a PO box. I know for me, the first apartment that I lived in New York City, where I was getting PR sent to, it was basically a 2-family walk-up home. So brands would basically just leave boxes like on the front porch, which obviously in New York City, you know, left them a little bit vulnerable. If someone was walking by, they probably could have just grabbed it. Versus I've also lived in apartment buildings with package lockers, with doormen, with just better mailing systems overall. So it depends on whether or not you think that packages may go missing, or maybe you've even experienced this yourself. I would also add to that, if you're a private person, or also if you are a massive content creator, if you're a massive content creator and you're watching my video, hello. Basically, just where you're not wanting to give your address out for privacy concerns, then a PO box would actually be a great option to have brands send their PR mailers to. If you're concerned about the cost of opening a PO box, just remember that it would be considered a business expense. So you can make sure that you just add that and track that into your expenses. So when it comes to tax time, you can write it off in your business. I would say really the one downside to this option is basically just that some brands actually don't ship to PO boxes. And I don't necessarily know the reason for why that is, but I have specifically gotten emails from brands before where they specify that they will not ship to a PO box. The last thing I'll add here is if you are giving out your real address, make sure that you are only giving it out to brands that you really, really want to receive PR from, and make sure that you're sharing it over email and that the person is emailing you from the brand's official email address. So like Maddie@everlean.com. That's not a real contact, just an example, but that they're coming from the brand's domain and not just like a random Gmail account or something that you don't recognize. If you're a newer influencer or content creator and you're interested in getting on PR lists or reaching out to brands that you potentially want to partner with, don't forget your complete pitching guide right on pitch is available on my website. This is my complete pitching ebook where I talk about what makes a great pitch. I share some templates that you can send to brands, and I even talk about getting rejected and why that might not be the end of the world. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, you can grab it at austentosone.com, and I'll leave a link down below in the description box. Okay, so next is a question that came in that I also don't think I've ever talked about on here before, which is, who is your biggest inspiration or influence in the creative space and why? I love this question, and of course there are a million answers to this. I mean, I could do a whole video of my personal favorite content creators and creative people in general, but I'm going to pick two people to spotlight just to keep it short and sweet. So in terms of someone's creative career that I would like to emulate in my own work, it is Lindsay Silberman, hands down. There are lots of things to love about Lindsay, but just to name a few, number one, she is actually also a former magazine editor like me. She worked on the digital team at Town and Country before going full-time with content creation. She has built a community of truly die-hard fans called the Silb Squad, like part of her last name, Silb Squad, and she has really done that by sharing super honest product recommendations. She does not just share when she likes something, she also shares when she does not like something, when something's not working for her, and I know people really appreciate her honesty. She also has started her own brand. It's a physical product brand called Hotel Lobby Candle. I actually am an affiliate for them, which is incredibly cool for me. So if you guys ever buy Lindsay's candles, please consider shopping through my link. I'll put it in the description box of the video. But yeah, this one is Aspen. It's really great for fall, and it's in collaboration with a hotel that she stayed at. And I love that she does stuff like that. She's also done a Pride candle before. She always does a holiday collection. And what I love about this brand is it truly is like a standalone great brand that happens to be founded by an influencer, but like you don't have to be a follower of hers to buy the candles and appreciate them. I also think that Lindsay is really, really smart when it comes to the influencer space, like having an affiliate program for her own brand, because she understands the power of a product recommendation from a reliable source. She also understands the power of SEO and blogs, which, you know, I am a big fan of as well. She has a really great email newsletter where she shares different product links and shopping recommendations. That's, again, very curated and like through her vision. And she even also has a hugely active Facebook group called the Silb Squad. And it's just a very like safe space of the internet. I know sometimes people use that term loosely, but I really do feel like it is that. People post in there about all different kinds of things. People post in there about navigating tough situations, about getting into hard to get into restaurants. I found my gynecologist in this Facebook group through a recommendation. So it really is just a group of like-minded people who all follow Lindsay and who kind of have the same brain. So in terms of creative career, she she is way, way up there for me. And then in terms of a creator whose content I personally would like to emulate or like aspire to be more like, that is going to be Jules Zachary. If you don't follow Jules, she is a lifestyle and productivity content creator based in Austin, Texas. She is also married to an Andrew, so I feel like the Austen and Andrew synergy is there. So I just appreciate that as a random fun connection between the two of us, even though we've never met. I will add that her YouTube channel actually inspired me to get back into vlogging, and I watch a lot of vlogs, but something about the way she creates vlogs inspired me to like pick up the camera again and try to start incorporating that back into my YouTube channel, because when she vlogs, there is always still a helpful tip or something that you learn or like a little hack that she shares, and I still walk away feeling like I got something valuable out of watching her vlog, just as much as it's enjoyable to see her go about her life, make matcha in the morning, walk her dogs, work from home, and all of those good things too. I also like really admire how she seamlessly integrates, you know, things that make her money into the vlogs. It never feels like overkill. I think her partnerships are very well aligned and integrated into her content. Sometimes she'll be sharing, you know, a Notion template that she created, and she'll be screen sharing and then mention that you can purchase the template. Like, it all just feels very fluid. And she recently launched a podcast that I am also hoping we get to see a little bit more of the behind the scenes of in her upcoming vlogs, because I'm very interested in, she talks a lot about her why and her intention behind why she starts certain things. And I have heard a lot about that. And now I'm super interested to see what is the process of creating a podcast, especially since I believe she's like self-producing everything, actually look like. Not for any particular reason, but you know, just good to know for maybe one day. So definitely go give her and also Lindsay a follow. I will leave their links and info down below. Okay, next question. And I love that we are thinking about these things. So I got a question from a comment here on YouTube saying, how can I create an affiliates page for my WordPress website if I don't want to create blog posts that incorporate affiliate links? So I love this question and have actually recently done something similar on Keep Calm and Chiffon. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what I did over on my blog in case it gives you any ideas. Hey guys, here we are on my blog, and I wanted to show you some ideas for incorporating affiliate products onto your website without necessarily putting them in blog posts. So I guess actually the first thing I want to show you is my homepage, and my friend Caitlin actually inspired me to redo my homepage a little earlier this year. So I have, you know, my kind of main categories at the top here, search bar, obviously my latest blog posts, which I really want to be blogging more, and a little bit of a welcome, some featured stories. But then as you scroll down, and by the way, this is intended to be pretty mobile friendly too, so this will look really good if you're scrolling and looking at my website on your phone. As we start to scroll down to the bottom, we start to get into some basically affiliate products that I've linked. So I have this section here called Currently Wearing, where you can click on any of these images and it will open up onto my like to know it, and you'll be able to shop the product. That should be linking to a specific photo, so something I gotta go check out. And then the same thing when you start to scroll down here, you see these Austen approved products, right? Let's see if this one is working. Yeah, this one's working and going directly to my LTK post where you can shop my clip-on light. I've added these Austen approved products because I want people to know that I've tried them and loved them. Then I also have some home content down here, as you can see. And then I created this cute little graphic in Canva. This is something you guys could easily create and do for your own website too, where right here it says let's shop. And actually if you click on it, it brings you to this page of my website, which is keepcalmandchiffon.com/shopping. So what do I like about this? Two big things. Number one, that's a really easy URL to say out loud. So if you're doing like an Instagram live, for example, and you're like getting ready and showing all your makeup products, and if you say, oh, and if you go to my blog, keepcalmandchiffon.com/shopping, you can actually shop all of these recent
makeup favorites. Like that is really easy to tell people about. And then I also love that you have the ability to curate your affiliate posts more specifically when it's on your own website. So as you can see, one of the top things that I make money from on affiliates has been like wedding recommendations, whether it's wedding guest dresses under $50 or bridal accessories from Amazon. Things like that do really well for me. Also, these kind of flat lay outfit ideas, collages. I don't really do a ton of these anymore, but these are some of my favorites that I feel like people are actively looking for, like a travel day idea, what to wear to a concert. And then if you guys have Like to Know It, if you're part of LTK as an affiliate network, you can actually embed your last 10 posts onto your website. So just once you're inside your LTK, if you click on LTK widget, this will give you code that you can then put on your website so that those 10 posts are always updating with your most recent LTK posts. So as you can see here, all you have to do is connect your profile. You can choose the width, and then depending on which platform you use for your blog, you can get specific code to embed on there. So for example, mine is Squarespace, and then it will generate like a code that you can post on your website. So I like having the latest here because that means it's always updating and it should be easy to find. And then after that, I have more Amazon finds. That's a pretty popular retailer for me. Then I put things like shoes, best of beauty, and then I even have just these clickable links to some of my favorite retailers. Like there's Hotel Lobby Candle again, Glossier, Act and Acre, Versed. A lot of platforms that I'm direct affiliates for I put here in addition to my LTK. And then even down here, I also have like Shop My Closet. So if you want to shop my closet on Poshmark, that's here. And then at the bottom of every blog post, I just have my Instagram and then the search bar embedded again. So all of these collages I've created in Canva. It's really easy, especially with the background remover tool, to create these like flat lay collages or these kind of roundup style images. So you can get super creative with this and think about, again, like your best sellers or things that you really want to spotlight, products you've tried and loved and have, repurchased also. So you can think about those different things as you try to incorporate affiliates into your website, but that's how I do it on mine.
All right. And for this next question, I have kind of been like abbreviating some of these questions or just condensing them, but I am actually going to read this whole question because I do think the context is important. Okay, so this creator left a comment on my YouTube channel and asked, I'd like to know your opinion on something. So I know SEO is very important when it comes to people finding your content, and blogs/blogging can be a great traffic source. I currently use Tumblr because it's free to host my domain name, and I only have my social media links on there. I treat it like a link tree, but again, I'm using it to use my domain name because it's free, whereas other hosting platforms, I would have to pay them to host my www.com name. Anyway, I'm wondering what your opinion and thoughts are on using Tumblr as a blog instead of, say, Wix or WordPress, where I believe I would have to pay to use my domain name. I don't currently make any money with social media, so I don't want to spend any money yet, which is why I'm using a free platform. Any advice is appreciated. Thanks in advance. Okay, so this is a really, really great question, and I'm actually going to respond with a question, and that might seem a little meta, but stay with me here. So my question to this creator and to any of you who are wondering the same thing is basically, what is your end goal and how do you plan to monetize your content? So if you want to create a profitable blog where you are earning money from ad revenue and publishing articles, I'm just going to tell you right now that you can't do it on Tumblr. If that is a goal of yours, you will ultimately need to move to, ideally, probably WordPress. This is because to run ads on your blog, like to apply for an ad network and then to have that third-party ad network display ads on your blog, you need to be able to do it from a self-hosted domain, which, as you alluded to in your question, you would have to pay for. If you don't want to make money through blogging, if you primarily want to make money through brand deals on Instagram, then you probably don't need a self-hosted domain or a blog in that sense. If that's how you want to make money, then it's not as big of a deal to have Tumblr act as sort of a link tree, although maybe at some point you want to actually upgrade to Linktree or to Milkshake or any of those other apps that you can use. If you want to see what I do for this, you can click on my link in bio on Instagram or here on YouTube, or you can go to austentosone.com/createbetter. Basically, it's a hidden page, so you can't find it in my website navigation, but that's what I use for my link in bio to do what it sounds like you're doing if you're watching this, which is just have a bunch of different buttons linking to my YouTube channel, my email newsletter, and all those things. At the end of the day, as influencers, we get to be creative with how we make money. And this is something that I actually teach and talk about in depth inside my digital course, which is called the Influencer Income Accelerator, if you haven't yet heard of it. And that course is all about helping you start and scale passive income streams, but helping you start and scale passive income streams that make sense for you. Maybe you saw a TikTok of an influencer who says they're making 5 figures a month just from Amazon affiliate revenue. So that's great for them. But what if your end goal is to become a public speaker and ultimately be a talk show host and an author? Is promoting like 30 plus Amazon products a week, which is probably what you would need to do to hit that level of income, something that you want to be doing right now? Is that something your audience is open to or receptive to? If you ask me, it sounds like you would be better off starting a YouTube channel so that you have all of this amazing video content of you being a speaker, and so that you're earning passive income from YouTube AdSense, where you're making ad revenue from every single video, and so you're making money and getting paid that way, but you're not asking your audience to buy something from you. I will say that ad revenue is one of my personal favorite income streams, and I make ad revenue here on my YouTube channel and also over on my blog, because on my blog, I am part of an ad network called She Media, where they connect me with advertisers, and there are display ads on my site that I get paid from, whether people just view them or whether they click on them, make a purchase. All of those things get tracked, and I am able to run ads on evergreen content on my website. That's one of the reasons I love YouTube and my blog as searchable platforms, because the content I create here and over on Keep Calm and Chiffon serves me years and years later, versus the lifespan of content on TikTok and Instagram tends to be shorter, but can still be really powerful. Anyway, if you'd like to learn more about monetizing a blog, I actually do have a whole video about that topic that I'll link down below so you can watch it later. At the end of the day, it's really up to you, but I hope this helped give a little bit of clarity and insight into my perspective. All right, guys, and the other big theme of questions that I noticed in the comments across a lot of different YouTube videos was actually surrounding the topic of content ideas. A lot of you want to know about content ideas, how to not feel like you're running out of content ideas, where to get them from. So I'd actually love to do a whole separate video just about coming up with content ideas. But I did want to take a moment to plug my Patreon membership, because if you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon membership where you pay monthly for access to additional resources that I create for you guys. And in the $3 a month tier, I drop new content ideas at the top of every single month. And those content ideas are for, lifestyle, fashion, beauty, travel, home content creators. And I drop new ideas at the top of each month that are usually tied into, the season or any important upcoming holidays or sales or things like that. So it's a really, really affordable option to just take the guesswork out of your content plan for the month and get those content ideas included in your membership. Okay, everyone, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what I'm going to ask of you, which is to consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for new videos every week. And also feel free to turn on the notifications so that you never miss a video. If you'd like to hear me answer even more of your questions, I will link my previous Q&A for you on the screen so you can watch it next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.